In the past, many a media person feared the thought of having to cover any event at Kenyatta National Hospital. This was because of the secrecy that surrounded the establishment. However, the past year, the realization that in fact KNH, which is one of the most progressive hospitals in sub-Saharan Africa, both in the management of ailments and research and as a major referral facility, the realization that more information needs to get out has been seen. The task of managing this crucial facility rests on the shoulders of two people, the Chief Executive Officer Richard Lesiampe and his deputy, Dr. Simon Monda. For Lesiampe, the appointment to head the medical facility, yet he has a grounding in administration, was a baptism of fire, quite literally, as 2 months into his appointment, the worst ever fire disaster occurred at Sinai slums and all the victims were sent to Kenyatta National Hospital.
There were doubtful Thomases, and they felt that historically this institution has always been managed by a medic. But one thing I would like to say is that management is a science and management is a skill. And individuals who have been trained in management have the capacity, have the skills, have the competencies, have the knowledge to manage any outfit.
He admits that heading an organization the level of Kenyatta National Hospital is not easy.
I could be in a meeting and within an hour or so we have a disaster and we are waiting to receive maybe 100 plus sometimes victims of that disaster. And therefore out of a meeting you actually go and manage a disaster. Probably out of a disaster, you have an industrial action. Out of an industrial action, and you are called upon maybe to manage a fire, a fire outbreak within the facility. It's a job that I will say that is not routine, and therefore quite inspiring, quite motivating, that calls upon one to be on alert.
In the last 1 year and a half, KNH has handled victims of 34 disasters ranging from fires, road accidents, collapsed buildings, terror strikes, the police killings in Baragoi, and various other emergencies in which an excess of 620 casualties have been treated at Kenyatta National Hospital.
It gives me a feeling that we need to do so much because one, we only have less than 35 ICU beds, and occasionally we get almost 50 people who require an ICU environment. This one depresses me so much. Sometimes it really puts me down. I feel that I've put in as much as I can as an individual. I've been very passionate about this job, and it satisfies me, on a daily basis to see that 1,000, 2,000 Kenyans come to Kenyatta National Hospital, and through passion that we have always come out of these situations, and we don't fall off the rails, and we really focus and come back and move on with our day-to-day issues with an attempt of making sure that we attain our strategies. I've also said earlier on that because of teamwork, we have a very, very effective executive management of Kenyatta National Hospital. We also have a very, very effective heads of departments team. We also have our staff, they are working as teams, at all levels. And this has really made it easy for us really to come off of some of these disasters, come off some of these very, very difficult situations.
The 2,000-bed capacity hospital with 5,000 strong workforce is now in dire need of a children's hospital. Entering Ward 3B at Kenyatta National Hospital, one would be forgiven for straying into a residential apartment. The sheer large number of children on the corridors is testimony of the need to have a separate public children's hospital. Meet this 7-year-old running around with his crutches. He was nearly crushed by a speeding matatu in Mathare as he ran home for lunch. He is healing, but now lacks a place to play with other children. All he can do is run around at the KNH corridors. And so, the Deputy Director in charge of Clinical Services, Dr. Simeon Monda, says, owing to the large number of children in need of medical attention and the fact that children need special attention when they are sick, the country is now ripe to have a public children's hospital.
There is every possibility that if you mix people who have infectious diseases with the children who don't have infectious diseases, there is every possibility that it can be transmitted from the other patient to the child. Because if a child comes with the tuberculosis and another comes with the tuberculosis, one may be having the difficult type of tuberculosis, like the drug resistant tuberculosis. So this can be transmitted to the other child.
Dr. Monda notes that whereas there are doctors at Kenyatta National Hospital who have specialized in pediatrics, having a hospital specifically for children will help in ensuring that pediatricians specialize in subspecialties to better offer care to children's diseases that have lately become complicated.
And when we have this special ward, we shall have the pediatric cardiologists and the pediatric cardiac surgeons treating those people in their own environment. They have their special requirements, and therefore they will be able to project and build capacity so that they are able to cover the cardiac diseases in these children. If you have children who have cancers like the common cancer in children, like Wilms tumor of the kidney, you will find that if they have their own ward, surgical ward, then the pediatric surgeons will be able to project and train the number of people they require to cover that specialty.
The resident doctor at Ward 3B at Kenyatta National Hospital, Dr. Dan Alaro, concurs.
Like you see, most of the patients here are on oxygen, and others may have problems with the circulation, meaning they could have severe anemia, problems with feeding, and if we don't monitor them very closely, then we lose them.
In some of the wards, you find that the children are mixed with adults, because if a child comes with the tuberculosis and another comes with the tuberculosis, one may be having the difficult type of tuberculosis, like the drug resistant tuberculosis. So this can be transmitted to the other child.
As Channel 1 winds up the special series on Kenyatta National Hospital, the realization that medical care is crucial to our well-being is evident.